So around a week ago, I've talked about some of the worst criticisms I've seen of Daredevil Born Again. In spite of my issues with the show, it's important to make accurate criticism, and at least try to be fair to what the show is doing. With that said, my friend Madvocate made a very good video on Daredevil Born Again. I recommend watching if you haven't already, since it offers accurate and good faith criticism. Today I'll be responding to some of the worst defenses I've seen for the show, in response to this video. Now whether you think Born Again is good or not ultimately shouldn't matter, because I think even most fans of the show can recognize that these defenses I'm about to respond to aren't very good defenses. So, let's take a look at some of these. He didn't even watch season 2, so the video is invalid. Okay, well I'm not sure how that works. If a season of television has value and holds up on its own, then all you should need to validate its existence is the material in the first season. You shouldn't need another season to fix any problems people may have with the first season. What makes this even worse is that it's blatantly unfair. As Madvocate explains, he wrote this entire video before Daredevil Born Again Season 2 was even marketed. He was actually supposed to release this before Born Again Season 2 came out. But unfortunately, he was hit with a mountain of copyright claims because apparently YouTube runs its system on guilty until proven innocent. So if Madvocate is reviewing Born Again Season 1, then how can he be expected to watch Season 2 before it's even out? Does that mean that any review of Born Again Season 1 is invalid until Season 2 comes out?
I sense something. A presence I've not felt since...
It's like leaving a review at a restaurant you haven't been to in 5 years.
What? What are you talking about?
No, it's the equivalent of eating dinner one night, leaving a bad review based on what you ate that night, then choosing not to go back there, which is a fairly reasonable response to being unsatisfied for, you know, what you paid for. And I really like how at the start of his video, he said he won't do any video on Season 2, which further proves that Madvocate and Chief Talks are just ignorant. So this seems like a non sequitur. Refusing to watch Season 2 is not mutually exclusive with being properly informed. The only information you should need to review Season 1 is Season 1. This doesn't prove that either of them are ignorant about the show. Did they make any false claims? Did they misunderstand the show? Examples of this would actually display ignorance, but nothing has been provided here outside of the fact that they refuse to watch something that they expect not to enjoy.
I feel like grabbing you by your ears right now and screaming in your face, I'm not fucking interested.
But don't worry, I'm making a video on Season 2 if you're interested. All of the criticisms fall flat for me once he stated that he doesn't care about the source material or the behind-the-scenes circumstances when judging Season 1, even when the latter is the sole reason the show turned out like it did, writing-wise as well, which is his focus. So as for the source material, Madvocate's focus is on how well the show stands on its own, which means that outside resources like the comics aren't relevant to his criticisms. His focus is on how Born Again connects to the Netflix show, which it decided to be a continuation of. Last minute, sure, but a continuation nonetheless. As for the behind-the-scenes circumstances, while they can provide context for why the show turned out the way that it did, that doesn't make the show itself good. Madvocate's approach is based on his own experiences. What did he see when he turned on Disney Plus and watched the show? And he reviews the content from there. No matter what happened behind the scenes, at the end of the day, what we actually experience in the show are the episodes as they stand. And I think acknowledging this in an assessment is not necessarily a dismissal of the efforts made by the creators in spite of the circumstances, but rather it demonstrates a clear focus on what the story had to offer. I skipped to random parts to listen to his critiques. A few, complaining that Foggy is into more than one person, stating that he can't be, which is just stupid to say. Complaining two people got into an argument and didn't talk about it for a bit. Okay, I'm not sure what that one's talking about. Complaining how Fisk was able to run for mayor, as if he doesn't have wealth and connections and can easily vacate charges. Also capitalizing on public fear. You know, something that happens in real life too. The three things I've listened to are insignificant nitpicks.
Nope.
Okay, so Madvocate didn't say that Foggy can't be into more than one person. His criticism is more so that in spite of the build-up that the show dedicated to Foggy and Marcy's relationship and where it stands at the end of Season 3, Born Again completely undid those payoffs, in favor of Foggy pursuing a character that we barely know, right before he died.
Goodbye, sir.
Now, how is it compelling storytelling to dedicate multi-season long setups and payoffs only to undo them on a flip of a dime? That's a very reasonable thing to point out, and that's definitely not a nitpick. As for Fisk running for mayor, we have to remember that Fisk lost a good chunk of his assets as established in Season 2 of the original show.
You need to understand that a good number of your assets were seized by the government, Mr. Fisk.
We need you to keep your head down and avoid trouble while you're in here.
The state will jump on any infraction to shoot down an early release, to keep you inside.
and Fisk had to face even more legal issues in Season 3. All of that was addressed in Madviket's video, and many of his connections were botched, since the FBI ended up flipping on Fisk.
Well, the state of New York isn't gonna make the same mistake. Everyone knows this game now. Fisk won't manipulate the system again.
Special Agent in Charge happily flipped. She corroborated Ray's dying declaration.
I did hear.
Am I the only one who did the reading?
And Season 3 showed that even before the Nadeem video was released, the public hated him. They hated him so much that Fisk described himself as New York's scapegoat, and believed that he needed Dex to impersonate Daredevil in order to divert focus away from him.
Right now, I am New York's scapegoat. Fortunately, the public is easily distracted. The city needs a new villain. I think I might have found him.
Who are you? I'm Daredevil.
And that failed when Dex was exposed as the fake Daredevil who was under the orders of Fisk. So I don't know where public fear plays into this, given that they're constantly on the streets protesting Fisk. I also find the comparison to real life to be thin at best. Setting aside Daredevil and the Defenders, we know that Hawkeye, one of the original 6 Avengers, had Fisk on his radar and even had a video that incriminates Fisk. This would largely change things.
Well, that's the guy I've been worried about this whole time. Kingpin.
I'm not going anywhere until this is finished.
And although the law and the system can fail us in real life, we also don't have Daredevil or the Avengers in real life, who can step in when the law isn't enough. Not to mention that the Avengers have more popularity than Fisk by far. One of the reasons Beck became Mysterio is because it seemed impossible to gain public approval because of how much the Avengers are loved in comparison to most. So it adds even less credence to the idea that Fisk would become mayor. And again, real life isn't reflective of the MCU. We have to look at the context of the setting rather than comparing fiction to reality. So that covers the worst offenses I've seen for Daredevil Born Again. Like I said, whether you like the show or not, I think we can agree that these are fairly bizarre defenses to make for the show. With that said, that's all I have for now. Let me know your thoughts below, and feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed it. I'll see you all later.
Goodbye.